to another edition of the My Scotts Valley Weekly Show. I am Robert Aldana, the host of the show and also the publisher of the My Scotts Valley Facebook page and of course MyScottsValley.com. I have a chiropractor here in Scotts Valley who I have the pleasure to interview and get to introduce to all of you, and that is Brad Hartung. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing great.
Good. Hey, I'm glad to have you here. Okay, I know we've been talking about doing the show for a while, and one of the things that I want to let everybody know is that there's a lot of cool things going on right now with the chiropractic field. There's some changes. We talked a little bit about this before the program started as to how not just technology, but how much more we know today, or how much more I should say you know today than maybe 20, 30 years ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, let's get started with your beginnings as a chiropractor. What brought you to the chiropractic field?
You know, there's a lot of different things that brought me to become a chiropractor. One of those things was I was a massage therapist before I was a chiropractor.
Okay.
I got to see that the effect of working with my hands, working on other humans, and seeing how I could help change lives and make people feel better and get them out of pain. And so I thought, well, that's a great thing that I'm doing, and I really enjoy doing it. But I want to be able to do more. I don't want to be limited to just doing massage therapy.
Right.
And so I thought, what else can I do?
Okay.
And about the same time in my life, I was introduced to chiropractic by 3 or 4 different sources. And when it came together, and it just kind of, life just funneled me into it.
Cool.
Kind of brought me to where I'm supposed to be, and I couldn't be happier.
Awesome. So the back is one of those things where you can't mess with your back, because when your back is out, I mean, you're pretty much, you know, once in a while my wife has back pains. I've been very fortunate in my life that I haven't really experienced many major back pains. Many years ago, about 25 years ago, I actually got rear-ended by a drunk driver. I was standing at a light, not standing, but I was in my car at a light, and a drunk driver just hit me almost full force. I had to go to a chiropractor for about a year, maybe a year and a half, and it wasn't a lot of fun, but thank God that, you know, I'm doing a lot better and I haven't had any repercussions from it. But the back is a really big deal. Obviously, when your back is out, you can't do much, huh?
No, they talk about, one of the things I've heard is, you know, have you ever heard of the spinal transplants? And the answer is no, usually. And then I say, well, neither have I.
Exactly.
You have to take care of the one you have.
Yes.
You can't mess with it.
Yeah, you really can't. Now, we'll talk a little bit about preventive measures that you can take as just overall advice that you can give to people who are watching this program. Some preventive measures, especially people who have kids. Like I have kids, we're always picking up our kids and moving a certain way. We'll talk a little bit about that. But why Scotts Valley?
Why not? Look around. Right? It's not a why not. It's like, of course, Scotts Valley.
Yes.
At the time when I was deciding on whether or not to move here, my wife and I were living in Kentucky, and we were both from the Bay Area, and wanted to get back home, wanted to come back closer to a family, and but we weren't sure about California. We weren't sure if this is where we wanted to go or not. And then the opportunity came, and said, well, we always had the caveat, well, we don't want to go back to California except for Scotts Valley.
Right.
And then when it came up, we said, well, we've got to take it. We've got to go for it. And I mean, you look around and the great schools and the great people, it was kind of a no-brainer. Of course I'm going to come to Scotts Valley.
I tell this to people all the time. You just hit a couple great nails on the head, and that is, number one, the schools are awesome here, right? I mean, you could live in Scotts Valley and not have to take your kids to a private school because the schools are so good here.
That's right.
And then the surroundings and everything that we have here, and the great people that exist in this town. And I really mean that with all sincerity. There's some wonderful people in this town.
Absolutely.
Always out there to help other people. We do a lot of stuff on the My Scotts Valley Facebook page, and I'm just shocked in a pleasant way at how many people, the moment somebody needs something, everybody's there to step up. So how long have you been a chiropractor?
I've been a chiropractor a little over 5 years.
Okay.
And been practicing mostly in Kentucky.
Okay.
And moved back to California in June of 2012.
Okay.
So I've been here about a year and a half.
Okay.
And expect to be here another 20 years.
Awesome. So one of the things that we need to tell people about is where your actual office is, because a lot of people don't know that your office is here unless they're actually coming to visit you. But tell everybody where your office is.
Yeah, so it is kind of a tricky place to find sometimes. We've been in this office for about 20 years. The owners previous to me were here for a long time. But we're in between, what I like to tell people is we're in between the Ace Hardware and the Walgreens.
Yes.
Kind of behind the bagel shop. And that usually gets people to say, oh, that's That's where it is.
Yeah, people know where the bagel shop is. That's right. So when people come to see you, what's the most common, I'm not sure if illness, but condition is the word. What's the most common condition that people come to see you for?
Well, for sure, the most common injuries and conditions that people come to see me for are low back pain and neck pain.
Okay.
But we also do a lot of other things. So we do treat things like headaches. That's pretty common. We treat arms and shoulders and elbows and wrists, knees, ankles, hips, all those things. Musculoskeletal injuries are what we specialize in. We're known mostly to be back specialists, but anything that's muscle or bone, we can usually help it.
I was just telling you a little earlier that underneath all this flab that I got, I actually have some muscles. And I had a little pulled muscle here on my elbow. You guys don't just treat backs, but you also look at things like this.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. We're going to get you in a little bit after
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So, being a chiropractor in Scotts Valley, there's not a whole lot of chiropractors here. So I would imagine you've made some great relationships here in the area, and you're a member of the Scotts Valley Chamber of Commerce, from what I understand you were saying, which is another great organization. We're going to have to do a show on them one of these days because they're doing some cool things for the community.
They really are.
But one thing that I really like that you said is that giving back to the community is where it's at. And if you've ever watched any of my videos, you've ever read my articles and so forth, I talk about that big time. How important to you is giving back to the community in Scotts Valley?
Oh, I mean, that's how you develop relationships with people. That's how you get to know people. My birthday was last month. And for my birthday, what we did is we opened the doors and we had free treatments for everyone all day long. We even extended our hours to make them open a little bit longer. And so we got a few more people in just to get treated. And that was my way of giving back. One of the other ways I like to give back is by coaching. So I coach with the Scotts Valley
the high school team. That's cool.
I do the discus and shot put coach. I started doing that in high school and just fell in love with it. And I was talking to another friend of mine here in town, and he also did it when in high school. And we thought how great it would be to do it and to coach and get back into the sport. And last year I had the opportunity, and I got to coach a bunch of really great kids in the high school here.
That's awesome. You know, we talk about the success of Scotts Valley. If you get a chance, read an article that I wrote that talks about, you know, why Scotts Valley is such a success. And it all starts with education. Okay, if you get a great education, you give a great education to the kids, you're going to have great neighborhoods, and you're going to have so many great things happening. So that's cool that you're doing this. So you're coaching that, and you're having a lot of fun with it?
Oh, it's a blast.
I can imagine.
It's really, really fun. I look forward to it all year long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Brad, I'm really happy that you have a few extra minutes to talk to us. And I really appreciate that. I'm sure the community really appreciates that. And it's kind of cool that they're all getting to know you here. What are the tips that you can give to people who, you know, like myself, a parent, a guy like me approaching 50, people in their 30s and 40s, you know, we still like to play sports. We keep forgetting that we're not 22 years old anymore, right? What tips can you give to a guy like me? What tips can you give to parents so that they can continue to have a healthy back?
So posture is a big thing. Making sure that you have the right posture. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. So our moms were right. We're supposed to sit up taller, right?
Okay.
But having a good posture at your workstation, in any other thing you're doing, just having good posture is really, really important.
Okay.
We see a lot of neck problems, and people with this what we call military neck, where their neck is kind of leaning forward. Their spine is actually reversing the curve that it's supposed to have. So it should have a concave curve, and it's becoming convex, right? So it's really quite serious. And one of the major leading contributors to that is something that scientists are now calling text neck, where people are just doing this, looking at their cell phones or their iPads, or reaching out and looking at their monitors. So it's really important to get your head back over your shoulders and not leaning forward. That's one of the major issues that people come in with.
That's a good point. That's interesting that you say that, because it's right. Everywhere you go, people are like this. That's all they're doing is they're texting.
And it's hard, but if you can hold your cell phone up when you're looking at it, or your iPad or whatever it is, that's better for you. But it's you might be a little embarrassed walking around town like that. But
yeah, but that's cool. I mean, that's something I never even thought about, and that's very valid, because that's what we've been over the past 10 years as a society. That's what we've been doing with our bodies, and we're doing a lot of this. I see that you guys have a lot of cool equipment here, and so I know you have a lot of great top of the line type of equipment to help people, not just who are already in a situation where they're having back issues, but you also have equipment to help people firm up their core. And can you touch base for like 30 seconds on that?
Sure, we've got the equipment behind us, the Spine Force machine. That's a great way to strengthen the deep core muscles that you have. Helps to prevent you from, actually it helps prevent aging, right? So what happens is we're helping your coordination get stronger so that you don't trip and fall. We help you to have better balance. We also offer several other techniques here in the office that, as far as I know, no other chiropractor in Scotts Valley is using.
I haven't seen anything like this before. Honestly, I've never seen when I walked in here, I thought I was at the gym because you have some because our gym happens to have. I'm lucky that I go to Club One here in Scotts Valley and they have some really nice equipment. I haven't seen anything like this unless it's like at the gym.
We'll have to try it out after the interview.
Okay, so that's it's a core work. It's a core strengthening system. That's more of a preventive maintenance type of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can use it a lot for rehab. So after you've been injured and you're getting better, where you're not so much in pain anymore, but we want to make sure that you don't injure yourself further or again. That's a great piece of equipment.
Excellent. Beautiful. So how can people get a hold of you? You have a website?
We do.
What's your website address?
Yeah, so our website address is www.hindechiro.com.
Hindechiro.com.
Hindechiro.
H-I-N-D?
H-I-N-D-E.
Okay, H-I-N-D-E-C-H-I-R-O. Don't worry, I'm going to have it right here on the screen as we're talking, so it's cool. So what's a phone number if somebody wants to get a hold of you, make an appointment, even if they want to come in? Because even if they're not experiencing back pain, it's not a bad idea for somebody to come in and say, hey,
just
can you check me out and let me know if everything's okay and I want to prevent issues in the future. What's a good number they can catch you at?
It's area code 831-438-4901. And obviously we are great at helping to prevent people from getting in pain. But once you're in pain, don't just think it's going to go away on its own. And it might, but if you could get out of pain just a little bit earlier and a little bit faster, we can usually help.
Yeah, I agree. Good. And not to mention, this guy's a very intelligent individual because he happens to be a Dodger fan.
That's right.
Just like me. We're the only two Dodger fans in all of Scotts Valley.
We're not supposed to tell people
we shouldn't have said that. We probably shouldn't have said that because now nobody's going to come visit us, but no, or come visit you. But no. In all seriousness, it's a pleasure talking to you, Brad.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the time that you take for the community, things that you do for the community, things you do for the kids at the high school, the teaching, the coaching that you're doing. That's great stuff. So thanks again for being on our program, folks. Thank you for watching our show. Again, if you want more information, you can go on their website at hindechiro.com. I'm putting it right here on the screen as we're talking, so you can visit their website. So thanks again, Brad. Thank you, folks, for watching. And please, if you have a moment, if you have any questions, post them here on our Facebook page at facebook.com/MyScottsValley. And don't forget that we're also on the internet, not just on Facebook, but we have a myscottsvalley.com website address. So make sure you visit that. Thanks again for watching. This is Robert Aldana. We'll be talking to you soon.